All right, so earlier we played a soundbite from Brad Gerstner. He said this isn't a bubble. He talked about the valuation of NVIDIA and just generally talking about the need for chips going forward. When we look at some of the pressure on chips in recent days, a lot of it linked to DeepSeek, do you think that we're seeing signs of a bubble or maybe the cycle kind of reaching its peak?
Frank, I don't think there's a bubble in AI per se at this point in time. But when you do look at some of these individual stocks out there in semiconductor land, some of these stocks have made what a technician would call an island top, meaning they've gapped higher, they consolidated sideways, and they gap down again. That typically is not a pattern that is typically going to be a quick continuation of the uptrend. It's going to take some time, Frank, to digest some of those gains in some of those stocks, whether it's Broadcom, whether it's NVIDIA, whether it's some of those names. Again, the expectations are super high. The opportunity is super high for NVIDIA. But when you come back and you sort of look at what happened post this AI sort of slide in the market we had saw earlier this week, you saw the market actually broadening out, and you started seeing value stocks actually starting to pick up. And if you looked at the Russell 1000, 2000, and 3000, you actually saw more advancing versus declining issues, Frank, as you sort of went down cap.
You know, Greg, let's talk about that for a second. I gave you a tip of the hat just a bit ago. You pointed this out. Actually, if you look back, all the way back to that hawkish cut from the Fed back on December 18th, value has been outperforming since then. In your mind, what does that signal about market sentiment, about what investors are looking for? And are investors looking for dividends? Are they looking for income? Or do you think this is simply some concerns about the high valuations and they still like growth, just not at this valuation?
I think it's a combination of things. I mean, first and foremost, you've got a new administration that's coming in. So there's a lot of questions about what policies are going to look like. So investors are going to be doing some rotating, perhaps out of a very concentrated Mag 7 trade. And they're going to be looking for other areas, perhaps down cap, that look more constructive on the charts. I think number one. I think number two, as we sort of break this apart, we do have a yield curve, Frank, that is steepening, and that should be a very bullish trend for the financial sector. So it doesn't have to just be those Mag 7 stocks or just the AI trade. It can start to broaden out as the economy looks good, jobs are still strong, and you're seeing those productivity gains happening from AI. The economy's in good shape, and that's what I think other parts of the market like financials are starting to tell us.
So, Craig, you made some moves in your Piper Sandler technical portfolio, your technical opportunities portfolio, including American Airlines and also NRG, an energy name. I want to ask you about those two picks as an ad. What are you seeing in the airlines and travel that made you bullish on that? And then NRG, are you concerned about some of the weakness we've seen in energy following DeepSeek? It seems like the whole DeepSeek concern is hitting every part of the market.
You know, Frank, first in terms of American Airlines, when I look through all the transportation stocks, these airlines have literally the best relative strength. And in the role that I'm in, I do a lot of time on airplanes, and you just look around the airports, there is no shortage of travelers at this point in time. If you sort of digest the numbers that Delta put out the other week, they're continuing to see revenues per seat continuing to grow. These airlines are showing great relative strength on the charts, and the fundamentals seem to be lining up. And it is a stock that is performing well, not only American Airlines, but Delta and the others. And then the other one, Frank, in terms of NRG, there is no question that there is a shortage of electricity. There's more data centers that are getting built. And if you look at these independent energy producers, NRG is in a pretty good spot to continue to do well. And again, from a trend and relative strength perspective, NRG stands out from our vantage point looking at the charts, and is definitely one I think investors want to continue to keep focusing on.